Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. I notice that sometimes if I put spaces between the words, it makes more sense. But yeah, really excited. Today's beer is courtesy of my man Chris. Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate it. Um, if you watch my channel a lot, you probably know Chris because he sends me a lot of delicious beer. He's a good dude. And also, it's one of the rare times I'm doing more than one beer review in a day. The guys at Nerd Sense and Matt from Massive are maybe busting my chops a little bit yesterday that I don't review enough lagers and low ABV beers, so I'm doing two in a row. This one is a Czech style Pilsner, 4.5% ABV. Between You and I is the name. Between You and I. And it's a collaboration between 4 Points, who I have had plenty of beer from, again, thanks to Chris, and a brewery I don't think I've had anything from, Green Bench. And they're out of St. Petersburg, Florida, whereas 4 Point is out of Charlie Roy, Pennsylvania. And this was a collaboration for Freshfest 2020, which Freshfest is, I think, one of the best ideas in craft beer in the last, I don't know, 5 years or so. And this year they had to go digital because it's tough to have a beer fest in the middle of a global pandemic. So really excited to be able to try a beer that they did for that. Yeah, let's get into it. Like I said, it's a style I don't really drink a lot of. I certainly don't review a lot of. And if I'm being completely honest, I don't know much between what makes something. I mean, I know Pilsner is Czech, but you know what does that mean versus like what characteristics should I get in this versus an American Pilsner? I'm not up on that super well, to be honest with you. Probably should release this on a Tuesday where I test my palate. It was just over a finger ahead, but it's going down pretty quickly. But it's that like soapy, sudsy thing. But man, look how quickly that is going down. Um, yeah, the other beer I did was 5.2 and in a 12-ounce can. So, despite how much I'm misspeaking, I don't think it has to do with me being buzzed yet. But anyway, the way the lighting is it makes that head look a lot whiter. It's like an eggshell color in person, and it's a hair. Interestingly, the what you're seeing is a hair darker than what I'm seeing, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's that white yellow color beer, almost like urine. I mean, if we're being honest, you can see through it. Somewhat unfiltered, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's hazy. I would use the terminology. It's an unfiltered beer. Um, but yeah, we're seeing a little bit more orange. I'm seeing a little bit more yellow. At this point, except for around the glass and a couple little islands in the middle, there's no head remaining. Let's get into the aroma. It is a soft aroma. There's a sweet earthiness to it. A I'm going to say sweet again, but I don't want to give the wrong impression. It's not like overly sweet, but it also has a sweet hay aroma. I don't know if it has corn, but it has like a cream of corn thing going. Because I know like these macro pilsner lagers. Sometimes they'll use corn or even like high fructose corn syrup. I don't know if this has any corn in it, but you do get like a creamed corn thing. It smells good. It's not bursting with anything, but it has enough sweetness, which I like, and it does have like some of these savory or approaching savory, the earthy thing, the hay thing, um, where it's not just like sugar water either. So I'm not getting like a big punch of anything else. See about the taste. Cheers. There's a trifecta of citrus zest in this, and it's basically equal parts lemon, grapefruit, and orange. Like I'm hard pressed to say one dominates over the other. Like it's like a three-way tie. except in the finish. The orange goes away, and it's the grapefruit and the lemon fighting for like which one's more dominant. So that's a kind of a cool transition that in the sip you're getting all three distinctly, but then in the finish the one goes away, but the other two are still there. So that's pretty cool and unique. Um, like a lot of people, I started drinking beer. I was up in Buffalo, New York, so I drank a lot of Labatt Blue, and typically Labatt Blue Light. Um, and it's interesting how it reminds me of that, but there's more flavor, on purpose. In this beer, I think those macros, right? They typically are brewed for mass consumption, and they don't want to, have anything that's too flavorful because those flavors could, be something that someone doesn't like. So if you kind of, don't have a lot of flavor, okay, this is easy to go down. That's all I care about. So this one is reminiscent of what I'm remembering back in those days, but does have more going on, like those three citruses I mentioned. Yeah, you're getting that like lager funk kombucha thing, which I talked about in the last review, and how I'm stealing that from Matt from Massive Beer Reviews. I'm glad he said that about kombucha and these things, and I get a little bit of that. It's a kind of tea. Um, I'm leaning green tea, but I'm not sold on it. But there is a tea quality besides like kombucha, but there's a tea quality. I don't I don't think it's. I'm gonna put that as a placeholder at least, but I don't think it's straight green tea. But that's what I'm gonna put as a placeholder unless I think of something more specific. There's a very dry apple cider note. For how many times I use the word sweet in the aroma, it's not that sweet of a beer. It is a very dry beer. Um, although I shouldn't say that. It starts sweet and then it continues getting drier and drier, and then the finish, like I said, I mean, it's very zesty, and also like rind pithy. So it's not a sweet, lingering taste at all. It's not like a syrupy sweetness on your tongue after you're done sipping it. It's a very dry thing. So it kind of, yeah, it starts a little sweet, then gets drier and drier as it goes, which is pretty cool. And even I haven't had a sip in a while. I'm still talking, excuse me, and it's still lingering on my palate. So that's a nice long finish. Excuse me. Let me do one more sip and see if I can get that tea thing nailed down a little bit more. It's a little herbaceous. So yeah, so somewhere between generic herbaceousness and green tea, whatever that is between those two things, is what that other note is. Um, and yeah, I'm really glad I said the dry apple cider because that is definitely a component of the flavor profile of this. It's I'll say this, it's a really cool beer. There's a lot going on for such a low ABV and for a style that I don't typically think has a lot going on, so that's got me pretty excited about this beer. um, I'm about to make dinner, and I think this will be really nice to continue sipping on as I make dinner. um, Peanut sauce noodles, if you were wondering. um, but yeah, this is really good. Thanks, Chris, for sending. I really appreciate it, man. A little bit outside my comfort zone, which I'm trying to actively do, and I appreciate. Thanks to the Nerd Sense guys and Matt at Massive Beer Review for busting my chops and kind of getting me to look in the fridge and see what low ABV beers I had to review, and doing two back to back. Thank you guys for watching. I always appreciate that. Check me out on Instagram and on Taps. No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.